Yes, from Barrel Engineering. Look, she made the stats so cute. They're so small, the stats this week.
So I was looking at these numbers yesterday. What do you think about those, Leo?
We're seeing definitely seeing an increase, a rapid increase in price decreases.
Yeah.
Pendings. Where's my pendings? Pendings are on the way down. New listings are slightly on the way up. Price increase. People are still trying to do price increases.
Well, there's look at the number of pendings. That's pretty profound.
It's down though. It's down from last week.
There's 1,241 pending.
And now
last week there was 993.
Never mind. I'm looking at the stats backwards. Yeah. So pendings are more than the new listings.
Yes.
Does that just mean it's taking longer to close?
Well, I don't know if that means people are clearing out their pipeline right now, which is it could be something that's maybe they've sold once or twice because it's fallen through. But the number of new listings was 841. So that's down. I think that's definitely going to go up when this COVID stuff passes.
Yeah, but we're still another month away from that.
We're still in it. Yeah, I don't know what the time frame looks like in terms of that, but
yeah, April 30th is the next day where they decide
what's happening next.
Next day is.
Yep.
Isn't there like a 3-part plan on reintegration?
Yeah, we actually have that. We're going to be talking about that on today's show.
Awesome, because I need to learn about that.
Yeah, so let's just compare the numbers real quick, week over week. So
yeah, I mean, the new listings, we're going back to 410, which would have been a month after the world ended. And then we had 1,159 new listings. And now it's about 830 new listings. What's more interesting, though, is this is the start of the busy season. So we should see a drastic uptick in the number of new listings. Instead, we're just seeing a slight de-tick.
Actually wanted to pull the stats for April, which we don't have all of April finished now, but I was going to pull it for last year.
Yeah.
Just to kind of have a look at the month view to see. And again, that's going to include Hernando, so it's going to skew our data a little bit.
Hey, but just stop picking on Hernando. You pick on Hernando the way I used to pick on Pasco.
Oh, here we go.
Until Catherine came on the show and set me straight.
So this morning, we've been trying to get the whole Facebook Live Zoom thing figured out because our guests have all been call-ins. And so I want to try to figure this out. Pat, are you connected with us, or are we just on the Zoom link?
We're working on that right now.
Okay.
So we can go back to talking about these listings. I mean, it's pretty level between last week and this week. So, I mean, everything's around the same between last week and this week. So we might be looking at the new norm. As opposed, because if you look at April 3rd and April 10th, the data here on these 2 dates are about the same.
My meeting password is invalid. Now, this is not being heard on the air. It's just in Katrina's ears. My meeting password and link is expired that you sent me.
The same. So hopefully we're looking at the new norm. So about 870 new listings, a lot of price decreases, which you would expect to find in this market. You would expect to find those price decreases, right, Kat?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to see more of that. I think it's just the beginning of the price decreases, if you ask me. I think we're going to have to see more of that because even though that pending data is really strong right now, I think it's just a matter of time before, we see the new listing number rise and the number of pendings drop a little bit.
The other interesting thing from these last 2 weeks of data compared to the beginning of the month is the last 2 weeks of data actually have less canceled, less temporary off market. So I think there's less uncertainty really in this data if you look at it.
That's true, but I don't think we're out of the weeds yet.
We're not out of the weeds, but I'm just saying there's less uncertainty. The new norm is setting in. People are getting used to staying home. They're stocking up on coronavirus for Cinco de Mayo.
I mean, it's interesting because some people are like, yeah, don't worry about wearing a mask or anything. And I'm like, I had a listing appointment this week, and the guy had an elderly mom, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about just having people in and out without wearing gloves and
There's so much misinformation out there, and that's what's really difficult. I mean, you hear things where the masks will make you sicker. You hear things where the masks actually make it easier for the virus to get to you. There's a lot, and I would call both of those misinformation.
Well, that's how science works, right? There's always someone ready to disprove someone else's theory or fact.
I mean, the masks can make you get the virus easier if you're fiddling with it the entire time. If you go into the supermarket, you touch things, and then you keep messing with your mask. The whole purpose of the mask is to keep you from touching your face. And if you don't clean your mask on a regular basis, it can give you respiratory illness. But some people, anti-maskers we'll call them, or anti-vaxxers, they like to cling to those cases, and they like to drop off the piece of, if you don't clean your mask in 3 weeks, you're going to get sick. They like to lop off the important part, and they're just going to say, mask make you sick. So, yeah, I mean, I'm wearing a mask. I got a nice one. It's got like, it's made out of a bra. I actually like the fact that it's made out of a bra. I'm a guy.
Are you kidding, really? Like, is that a joke, or are you just saying that?
No, it is. My mask is made out of a bra.
Who made it for you?
My wife's friend.
Where's the mask?
Oh,
I want to see
it's
it.
at home. I'll send a picture to you.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not going to... some people I know have their mask hanging from their dashboard, which is not really a safe thing to do, because if your mask is hanging from the dashboard, it's in a petri dish. It's in a really hot environment. Viruses and bacterium love hot. So, yeah, you got to bring that thing in and out.
Isn't there a certain point, though, where the heat actually kills a virus and bacteria?
Your car doesn't boil.
So boiling.
Boiling, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius.
Outside of that, it's just open invitation for germs, right?
Well, pretty much.
Is that what you're saying?
I mean, you think about it. Like, when there's a roof leak, the first place mold's going to grow is the attic. Because it's damp, it's hot, it's dark. It's just like a cesspool for mold.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And you don't want that stuff in your mask.
Well, looking at this today...
I'm still a pro-masker. People should be wearing the masks. People should not only be wearing their masks, they should not be fiddling it within the route.
So are you wearing your mask like anytime you're going in public, or...
Publix, yeah.
Just on job sites? No, public, not just Publix.
Well, see, I got an interesting scenario, because, like, when I had 4 inspections yesterday, and yeah, I wear a mask when I'm in the house. But when I'm going into an attic and I'm on top of a roof, I'm not wearing the mask, because the last thing I want to do is cut off my ability to respirate.
That would make sense.
So, yeah. And anyway, if the coronavirus...
I'd have a hard time believing that.
If people are on
way up there.
If people are on their roof licking shingles, I deserve to get the virus.
Are you kidding me? I cannot even believe you just said that.
But if people are up on their roof licking their shingles, I deserve to get the virus. I'm serious. People aren't doing that. And who knows, in those really hot summer days, that virus is probably baking on those shingles. It gets up to 170 degrees on those roofs.
So how are we doing, Pat? Are we able to connect yet?
Or do I need to keep rambling? I can ramble all hour. Sounds like I need to ramble some more.
He disappeared.
So how about that weather this morning?
No, I didn't disappear. I'm really trying to get it.
Got it.
This is an event
We'll
this morning that insurance claims are made of.
I know. You said that first thing when we came in.
I was ready for it.
Did you see that band that, like, I knew it was going to rain today, and it was supposed to come down after, like, 4 in the morning?
Yeah, we canceled all of our...
morning inspections?
No, those still happen. We canceled all of our roofing contracts for the day. We go out there and we oversee some roofers when they're doing subdivisions. We were talking with the roofers yesterday. We canceled all of those today.
In the morning?
Yeah, we're not.
It's supposed to be okay in the afternoon, right? I think.
It'll clear up in the afternoon, but that's a little too late then.
Yeah, so anyway.
Okay, the ID numbers are not working on Zoom. Your caller's on the phone if you want to take it.
Okay.
I think we should abandon Zoom.
Yeah, so Anna, why don't you just stay on Zoom and we'll see what we can do to, because we have this stream.
No, she's on the line right now to talk to you on the phone.
All right, perfect. So our guest today is going to be right on time for what's been going on. You guys may remember we've had Anna Gibbs on with Duke Energy in the past. And they are doing some really cool things right now, as are many other businesses, to actually help their customers. So, Anna, welcome back to Tampa Home Talk. It's glad to have you again.
Thank you for having me on.
Definitely. So, how's everything going in the Duke Energy world? Like, just out of curiosity, are you guys seeing, like, more of a demand? I imagine you are, right, on your residential customers, and maybe less in your commercial customers?
So basically, if you just think of how the weather's been, so it's really driven sometimes by the weather. So we've kind of had some unseasonably warm weather in the past few weeks. So we've seen a little bit more demand based on the fact that just the weather's been warmer. But yeah, so that's kind of how our business works, right? When it's hot, everybody turns on their AC, and that does definitely increase the need for our service, which of course is energy.
If it's hot, everyone's super glad, right, to have energy at that point. This is Tampa. Yeah. We'll come back right after this break. We're going to dive into some of the things you guys are doing in May that's around the coronavirus related, and just some different things in general you guys are doing to help people listen. So this is Tampa Home Talk. Stick around. We'll be back right after this quick break, and we'll give you our author number in case you want to answer myself or our guests. We'll be back in a moment. same token, I sleep with my clothes on, and you do not. So,
Hey, how do you know that?
because you told me.
That's true, but I showed up one day in my pajamas.
That's what you said, and I said, "Is that really what you wear to bed?" And you said, "No."
I sleep naked.
Exactly, and I'm like, "Well, I'm glad that you did not show up in your nighttime routine clothes, or lack thereof."
Just saying. And what else I'm just saying is 813-377-2775. That's 813-377-2775. Do we still have Miss Gibbs on the line?
We do, I think. You there, Anna?
I am still here.
Awesome. So I have a curious question for you. You working from home these days like the rest of the world?
So I am lucky enough for the most part. I am working from home, but I will tell you we are considered an essential business. So if you think of the linemen, people that do dispatch, that control the grid out there, the plants, we have generation plants. So there are a lot of people in my business, though, that do have to report to work on a regular business.
Well, I mean, they're essential service, right? You need them. If you don't
need
have them,
electricity.
you don't have power.
We might as well just live in a cave at that point.
There you go. Especially now that there are a lot of people at home with children doing schoolwork, running their everyday lives
I
from
hear
home.
you guys perfect.
It
I
is
cannot hear
definitely
her.
critical, an essential part of their lives.
Sure. And so now, what are some of the things Duke's doing? Like, you guys are doing a reduction, right, for May to help people out?
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff that we're doing. We are very well aware that a lot of people are going through some financial challenges right now. And with that, the first thing that we're doing is that in May, we are asking the Public Service Commission to allow us, first on residential customers, we're passing on what we call fuel savings. What we pay for fuel has been a little bit less than what we expected. It's a pass-through, which means we can pass that on to our customers as far as savings. Typically, we would do that over an entire year, basically next year. Instead, we're trying to do a one-time savings in May. The bottom line, and what I think everybody, for your listeners, all they care about is that it's a 21% decrease for your May bill. It's a residential.
What?
For your business listeners, yep, 21% in May. One time, 21%. Even better, because I know a lot of your listeners are businesses, it's between 20% and 45% for those
Get outta
customers.
here. That's awesome.
Yes.
So that's awesome. You
with-
guys are doing something for business customers too, huh?
Of course, obviously their bills are typically much higher. I mean, they range from the thousands, hundreds, thousands, to some of them much even higher than that.
And some
It's
of
a
them
big
are going
difference
to be
from
less. Like, I mean, I know our office has been, there's nobody here unless it's, in the morning, Thursday and Friday when we're in the studio, there's nobody here in the
wow.
building. So, I mean, and I've already set the thermostats to turn the temperature up.
I'm going to hoard this power cat. I'm going to go home, blast my AC, plug in all my space heaters. I'm going to hoard this cheap power.
Well, I don't know if that is your technique that we suggest for customers, but
Stockpile it right next to my 2,000 rolls of toilet paper and my 500 rolls of paper towels.
there you go. And then, but also we recognize that we are the lucky ones. We're all here, we're all talking to each other, and we're obviously still working. There is definitely a community out there that may not be able to pay their bills. We have committed to our customers that we have suspended what's basically called, typically, obviously, if you don't pay your bill, we would then shut off your power. So we have suspended what's called cutting for non-payment. So if you do not pay your bill right now, we are not cutting your power, whether you're residential, whether you're a business. And we have committed to that to our customers because we understand. And like I said, there's a lot of people that are running their businesses from home, really running their families from home in school, and it's just not the right time to do something like that right now. We have suspended fees for things like late payments, for return checks, and if you're a residential customer, we're also not charging for payment with like a credit card. So we've suspended a lot of things in hopes that it just helps people. It's one less thing to worry about with everything else going on right now.
That's really good, and it says a lot about your company as a whole, as a business, right? In terms of making those adjustments, at least even short term. Now, I know they've made some changes for May, but if this lingers or continues, do you think they'll extend it?
So I should actually be very clear. The May is a one-time reduction, but everything else I mentioned is everything else I mentioned, though, has been ongoing since March, mid-March, pretty much, mid-late March. We'll continue, And we'll continue doing that, as this, I'll say national emergency continues. I will say this.
Still cannot hear her on Facebook.
That if you can pay whatever it is that you should, because it is not forgiveness, it is what we call deferment. So it's important to remember, as we joke about, hoarding the energy, that at some point, whatever you do owe will come due.
While she talks,
and it's not that we're going to say, that our state residential may have a $100, $200, $250 or $250 bill. That continues to build up. So whether it's a month from now, 2 months from now, if you owe all of that together, whatever you owe, we will work with you with payments, but just remember it will come due. And if you've been deferring your energy payments, your auto payments, even perhaps your mortgage payment, all of that does add up. So what we suggest is that you go ahead and pay what you can, if you can. If you're in a position to pay whatever you can, we are even willing to set up payments for your business or residential, so that you do not get to a point where you are so far behind that you have all of that hit you at once when this is all over.
Talk now.
So,
look at you talking.
That's just something to think about in the back of your head. I know there's a lot going on, but just planning ahead for the future.
It's interesting you say that, too, because, we hear this and we're talking about this. Right now, there's tenants and properties that are saying, because there's a moratorium on being able to evict tenants if they don't pay.
I can't tell you what she's saying, and I can hear you perfect.
With the mortgage.
Listen.
I'm on board. I've already told my tenants.
Are you sure it's only FHA? Are you 100% sure? Because I've actually been thinking about bringing Harry Heist back on.
I think we should get an expert to clarify, but if you own it free and clear, there is no moratorium on evictions. And from what I understand, again, I'd love to have an expert answer that question on the air, that it's only FHA or VA products.
Well, I think we're going to bring Harry Heist in. Do you remember him? That they specialize in landlord-tenant law.
That'd be awesome.
As a matter of fact,
especially now, that would be very timely.
Well, their law firm, when we do leases or tenant location, we actually have their law firm in, or we have their law firm prepare all of our leases because they're bulletproof. They're way better than the standard Florida Realtors contract for landlords and tenants. And so we prefer just to pay them, the fee to write the lease, because we know that it's going to protect our owners. And that's actually been on my radar, Leo. I don't know if we have somebody planned for next week. Maybe we can get them on for at least even a half hour. But
you should definitely have that person on.
And that's what I'm telling people. So
there's so much the hour with so much misinformation. I mean, we started about masks. We moved on to hoarding power. Now we're talking about not paying your mortgage. I mean,
here's the thing.
Misinformation.
Here's the thing, and it goes back to what Anna said. If, for example, let's say there's the moratorium on not being able to pay your rent, right? And let's say for whatever reason you fall in that category, we'll verify that information. Now, you still owe that payment for rent, and that's the kind of the same point that you're making, Anna. It's a deferment. So the reductions that you guys are doing in May, is that a deferment, or that's a one-time permanent deduction on your bill?
So that is a one-time permanent deduction on your bill, which is the difference between some of these different things. So the May is a one-time deduction, which you don't ever have to pay back. We're literally giving you back savings on our fuel costs.
It is a bailout.
That is the thing.
What it is. It is a bailout.
Stop it.
So please don't start that rumor.
I don't. Oh. Okay.
We just lost power.
Yes, and I hate to tell you, I'm a Duke Energy customer. Are you there, Pat?
Do we have to connect? What happened?
Pat? We just lost power.
We lost power. Do we hit the connect button? What do we need to do?
Are we on the air?
We're off. Traffic and weather. Seconds. Thank you very much for having your lineman standing by, turning us back on.
Do you even know who we're talking to?
Miss Gibbs. So, Miss Gibbs.
All right, for the person listening, Anna Gibbs is joining us with Duke Energy.
That's okay. We are very close friends with Kiko. We are all in this together. I promise you. We all work together, especially with hurricanes. So please know we're all friends.
Don't feel bad, Anna. This guy didn't know who the new quarterback was going to be for the Bucks.
Yeah, but now he's all over the news.
No, he's like, I have to pay attention to this because
It's the only
somebody's talking about him and some grunk guy.
Who's Grunk? Who's Grunk?
Okay, I cannot.
Seriously, who is?
I knew we shouldn't have started this. I knew it.
Follow sports. Everyone knows that. I don't follow sports at all, and now sports have stopped following the world.
He
So
was,
I mean,
Gronkowski. He was a New England Patriot with Tom Brady, and now he plays for the Bucks.
wait, they both come over?
Yes, and he was actually in retirement.
Wait, he came out of which one? Brady?
No,
I mean, Brady's over 40, so he should be retired.
I'm surprised you know that.
It's like Logan's Run and the Running Man and all that stuff. When you're over 25, they just kill you. Basically.
So, it was interesting. I was thinking about this, Anna, before we had you on, and we touched on it a little bit in the first segment, but I would think with everybody being home that naturally the energy consumption would just be greater. Is that the case or no?
Well, definitely within individual homes. So we actually have put out there on our website different ways that you can save energy. And I think it is important, especially as people are financially challenged, to think about how you are using your energy. We like to tell people that they have control of how much you spend on your energy bill. So think of things like your AC. So your AC is something that you probably spend the most of your money on, whether you realize it or not, whether it's in the winter or the summer. So the amount of energy it takes to either heat up or cool down your home can literally make a huge difference. And I'm talking, 10, 20, 30%, depending on how much you're using and how much you are, trying to cool down or heat up your home. We all want to be comfortable, but the reality is how much you're willing to pay for that. So we suggest 78 degrees for the summer. And then basically just trying to keep your AC system healthy, which means, having somebody come out maybe once a year, changing your filter out. And if you're a business, very similar things, because, obviously when you're a business, that AC is heating up or cooling down an even bigger space and perhaps even costing you more money. And I say it's a personal choice because we all know that some people just want to be cool. That's okay, too. You're just paying for it. And so that's important.
We have this regular fight in the studio where we crank the air down. He's always cold, and I'm like, oh, comfortable. And, yeah. So, at what point does mold set in? Isn't it 82 degrees? Mold can actually form if the AC is too high?
Yeah, I mean, that comes back to the misinformation. A lot of people say you need to raise your thermostat up to 85 degrees when you're not in the house. And if it's above 82 and you've got any kind of airflow in there, bringing some humidity in from like the bathroom, maybe from your shower, you didn't properly vent that air out, you could be growing mold if you set your house too warm. So, I mean, you have to balance it. Everything's a balance. I mean, the 78 degrees sounds about right.
But, I mean, at what point is it too hot, right? Because I thought I've had some AC techs tell me at 82, mold can start to set in.
Yeah, you get those pocket areas in the house that'll be even warmer than that. But, yeah, 82 degrees. That's why when I'm traveling, I set my upstairs thermostat to 82, my downstairs to 81, because the downstairs will be slightly cooler. Just trying to keep that mold from growing while I'm gone. Last thing I want to do is come back from vacation and smell mustiness.
No, you definitely don't want that. So 78 is probably a good balance. And then and there are many other things, so please know that's just one example that probably is the greatest, what I'll say, energy draw. But there are a lot of little things that people can do, everything from, we call them energy vampires that don't quite do as much of a difference, but things like, I'll say a pilot light. Pilot lights are, for example, your cable box that has that little red light on it. A lot of times your game consoles, anything, sometimes your coffee maker, anything that has those little pilot red lights on it, even though they're off, that actually draws electricity even when you're not using it. So if you have a ton of
vampire energy, Anna?
It is. That is.
But how much does vampire energy actually use? Do you know? I mean, I know it uses some, but.
Right, you're right. That's what I was saying. It's not as much of a draw, but it's still some. And so we do recommend that, for example, if it's on a power strip, if it's easy to unplug. I've learned that I do not keep my coffee maker plugged in. So, because it's easy to unplug. I know that some things are behind TVs and makes it much more difficult to just think of that, but there are little things that you can do to make it easier. Most people, I think, in Florida know if you keep your windows uncovered, meaning if you don't have drapes or if you don't have some sort of covering over your windows and on the side of the home that has the sun coming in, that can tremendously warm your home and make your AC work harder. So there are things throughout your house.
I have a curious question for you.
I have phone chargers plugged in every room in the house to make it easier to charge my phone. Should I not be doing that?
Yes, right. We do suggest that you don't do things like that for even safety reasons, right? There's no reason to have things plugged in if you're not plugged into something and for use. So there's a lot of reasons why we tell people just to be extra careful because of the business we're in.
I had heard the act of plugging them in and out kind of breaks down the plug itself, and it makes it not last as long.
So I can't, I have to be careful. I'm not an electrician. I have not heard that, but I'm not an electrician. So we would have to ask that to be sure. But I think
I have a question for you, or just a curious question. You probably didn't always do that, right? You didn't always unplug your coffee maker and like whatever else you're not using. Is that right?
Oh, that's right. I will tell you this. I am much more conscious of how I use my energy, and especially the AC. And there are times where it is cooler, and I just do completely turn off my AC. So I'm much more conscious of a lot of things. Let's put it this way. I have a whole new appreciation now that I'm in the business of what it means to flip a light switch and how the energy gets there.
So,
I had no idea what it takes.
So do you
how much did you save though by changing some of those practices? Like, did you notice a big difference?
Are you on a time of use meter?
No, I'm
So,
like how much your personal bill?
I have.
Questions? Or you want to they go both together?
Okay.
So I didn't hear the question, but I don't mind sharing with you. I live in a ranch home. It's pretty average. I don't live, an extraordinary life. I have a 2,000 square foot home. I have 2 kids. Pretty average, I live not far from you in, Odessa. It's because I think, you're in somewhat the area. And my bills are typically not over $100. So I do. Yep.
So what did you do? Like, how many square footage is your home, just to get an idea, roughly?
So 2,000 square feet.
Okay, so
2,200 to be exact.
What was your bill?
2,200.
Was it higher before?
Yes. So I probably save about $50 a month right now, meaning so it would not be unusual for me to have a $150 bill. I will say I do not have a pool because obviously that changes things. I do not have a pool. I do not have solar because I don't want people to think I'm cheating. But it has a lot to do with, and I am not one that I think the number one thing that I've changed is the AC, and that I have learned to live more comfortably with warmer. I was definitely one that at night and during the summer would turn it down to probably what would be considered hello there. That would be hi.
So for the person listening on the radio, like Anna's on Zoom with us, and I realized I was the only one in the Zoom, so
I like seeing a voice in the background.
I split it over so she could see Leo too, and then she started laughing.
So
yes.
Let me ask you this. I know a lot of people, and now I'm off conspiracy theory land. I know a lot of people who have a toggle switch, on-off switch for their water heater, and a water heater is a substantial amount of your electric bill.
Yes. So we do tell people, here's an easy thing, right, that you're not making yourself uncomfortable. Depending how long you're going to be away, like when you're on vacation, you can turn your water heater off because the reality is what they call, the standby. In other words, it keeps trying to stay warm. That causes a lot of energy loss. Obviously, what uses...
Basically, it's trying to keep the water at a certain temperature.
Are the tankless water heaters, do they save that much money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't take it from me. Let's ask the expert.
No, yes. All of those things are helpful. I will tell you, I don't have a tankless water heater, but all of those things are helpful. You can set it down to, again, it's all about comfort, so you can set it down to a lower temperature if you like, and that allows you still to be comfortable. But definitely if you're away for a while, whether it's vacation or whatever it may be, you can turn that off because, again, it's that every time the water cools down, it tries to warm it up again. And if you're not using it,
I know we didn't ask you this in advance. I'm curious, and maybe Leo can answer it and you can verify.
Do
you have a list? No. Do you have a list of like the top 10 things in your home that use the most energy, like from number 1 on down?
1 through 7 is your AC.
Okay. What's number 1?
8
What's
through
number
10
1?
is your water heater.
What's number 1?
AC.
The AC is number 1?
Yeah, AC is number one. AC is number one. I can tell you that off the top of my head. But here's a few things. It's easy to remember. Our website is duke-energy.com. If you play around with our, we actually have a ton of stuff out there. Duke-energy.com.
Okay, got it.
And then if you play around with it, because after that it's too long for everybody to remember, but you can play around. We have calculators that you can go through a home. It has a graphic of a home and tell you the different things and how you can save. Even for, for when we have, I know it's off season, but when you put up holiday lights, it tells you how much you're spending for your holiday lights and why you should use LED lights. It has a ton of cool, I'll say, cool tools to help you determine how you can best save. And right now, I have to tell you, we've suspended what we call our, where we'll come out and do what I'll call an energy audit. We suspend, yeah. You get free stuff. It's completely free. Because of the current situation, we are not coming into people's homes, obviously, for everybody's safety. But when this is all over, you can actually call us and get what is basically a free energy audit. We'll go through your bill. Yep, you get free stuff.
Customer, though, right?
And you get a discount if you need insulation in your attic. You get a discount on buying the insulation for your attic. It is a perfect program for your homes.
I was going to say, he can sell it better than I do. But it's free. Like, you don't get charged. And I will say this, most of the large utility companies have a program that's very similar. And we may not offer the exact, I'll say, rebate, but whether it's AirDust, all of the large utilities, whether it's Chico, we offer something that actually helps you save as you try to make your home more energy efficient. So that for us it is.
Like on how to save something, just call or text us at 813-377-2775. We can push you some resources. 813-377-2775. Anna, we have to go to a quick break, okay? So stick around. Our author number again, 813-377-2775. We'll be back. Stick around and that'll keep you guys updated. There's no traffic. What's going on with the weather?
During the break. You would not believe what's happening. We have Sarah on the line to give us our mortgage minute.
She does not want to get on Zoom.
And she does not like Zoom. Maybe she's wearing pants. You can't wear pants if you're on Zoom. We established that several weeks ago.
I didn't have any power earlier this morning. I haven't had a shower. I'm a hot mess right now.
We lost power during our segment. Were you listening at the time?
I've been listening here for probably the last 20 minutes.
Oh, we lost power just right before that. I guess when we put power back on, you actually you tuned in right after that. That's awesome. So how's the mortgage world looking this week?
It's looking better. Hang on one second. Are we on?
What you got?
Would you say we're?
Yeah, she's in a delay doing it from Zoom. She's in a delay. She's in a delay.
I'm not technology savvy, and I'm sitting here messing with Zoom.
I know you're good.
Yeah.
I just gotta let
Would
you
you say that we've hit the new norm? I've noticed as things have kind of leveled out from the real estate market and on the on what we'd say your intake is.
Definitely good news for government interest rates right now. I started seeing yesterday improvements, so we're looking great as it goes for USDA, VA, and FHA loans in terms of pricing.
Oh, good. So a lot of our first-time home buyers can finally buy again if they have a
job.
job.
Yeah.
Am I the only person that thinks of steak every time she says USDA?
Actually, USDA is like one of the best programs running.
Some might say it's prime cut.
No, I'm telling you. So USDA, they write loans in a rural housing area.
Of course,
So-
with the cows.
Well, like literally, well, this area is not. You got to go just a little bit over, but there's still there's areas right on 54, so almost Little Road, like right there, is still a great pocket. And there's still quite a few little pockets, like around Dover. There's a few like right there in that area. Then you got to go north. But it's actually the best program's running because it's a government interest rate, which is usually favorable.
It's grade A.
And there's no PMI, and the guarantee amount is really small, right? Comparatively speaking, Sarah?
Yeah, it's substantially, it's a guaranteed loan rather than an insured loan. So they do have a monthly, what we'll call maintenance fee, and that factor is substantially lower than what a factor would be if you were being charged mortgage insurance.
You might as well be speaking another language to the person.
How do I
listening to that.
qualify for a stake loan?
So USDA is geography specific, like Katrina said. You have to choose a home in an eligible area.
Let me chime in on that real
With
quick.
a cow.
We've literally pulled the map sometimes, and one side of the street is eligible and the other side is not. Right, Sarah?
Wesley Chapel Boulevard is an excellent example.
Okay, so I live in a ranch home. I have a cow, 5 chickens,
No,
and a
nothing to
goat.
do with cows or chickens.
What else do I need to qualify for a stake?
Here's an example
I'm
where
asking a real
listen.
question.
Here's an example where USDA can be beneficial. Where, like for example, FHA doesn't like to insure on a dirt road, but FHA will do that.
You mean USDA?
I mean, yeah. What did you say?
You said
FHA won't. They don't like to do it, right? The dirt roads, but USDA will do that, right, Sarah?
Well, they have some overlays when it comes to. I mean, we're able to do it more and more. It used to be very restrictive, but if the appraiser will comment that the road is safe to travel on, safe for emergency vehicles. In some cases, maintenance agreements are required so that each respective homeowner states that they maintain their portion that as it lines up to the road. But yeah, you're correct. USDA will do it.
Yeah. Well, so give some real numbers, like on a $200,000 transaction. And I know a lot of this is credit score driven, so
Let's
it
just
depends
say-
on the whole picture.
Let's just say both the USDA and the FHA are looking at a 720 credit score.
Well, I'm actually working in a scenario right now. So I'm working on a scenario for a client right now with a 680 credit score, purchasing USDA based upon a $240,000 purchase price. And right now we're able to lock 3.25% with no discount points. That's amazing. And an APR of 3.765.
So that's
I'm
USDA?
sorry? Correct.
And what's that same? So what's the guarantee fee on that transaction comparing to also?
So USDA has a 1% upfront guarantee fee that is built into the loan amount.
They roll it in to bring it to closing.
Correct. So in this scenario, based upon a $240,000 purchase price, the loan amount would actually be $242,424 with that fee rolled in. And then they have a monthly maintenance fee, and that's computed with a factor of 0.35. Again, the loan is guaranteed rather than insured. So for that loan amount, it's $70.06 in the payment.
So question, if I qualified for a stake loan, why would I want to consider anything else?
So well, there's some other caveats to it, but what's it for FHA, Sarah, in that same scenario? 680 credit score, 240, same client. What would they go?
We're pricing the same. We're just dealing with mortgage insurance and a 3.5% down payment.
Right. So what's the mortgage insurance on an FHA loan?
Well, let's look. It's a 0.85 factor if you're just putting 3.5% down, so it's going to be more than twice as much. Correct.
More than double. So probably about $150 off the top of my head.
So in a USDA loan, some of the caveats Katrina mentioned, which would make it not desirable for someone, is, some folks that work.
Oh, did we lose her?
I lost her. Oh, she was going to tell us what makes it desirable. I can ad-lib and just make stuff
Pat,
up
are you
until she
there?
comes back.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, she's gone.
Okay, so.
Oh, you want me to make stuff up, Katrina?
Well, no, I can tell you because I'm very familiar with this.
I'm very good at making stuff up this hour.
No, we're not making stuff up. Listen, so here's the thing. It's 100% based on address. So you got to put the address in, and that address determines whether or not it is. It literally says on the USDA rural housing map, this address is in an eligible area or it is not. It's very black and white.
But it sounds like from everything she said before she got cut off, in all seriousness, if you could qualify for one of
you
these,
can. Yep.
then you should run with it.
The only thing about that is there are some income caps. I think they're pretty high, personally. I don't know what they are right off the cuff. I think for a family of 4, I want to say they're around 80 or 90,000 a year, roughly. I got to verify that with her, but yeah. So there's some income caps where FHA is not going to have that. USDA is truly a zero down program, literally where it does not require a down payment. FHA has that same upfront MIP that they roll. Insurance is double. It's literally more than double. Like in this case, we'd have to factor it up, but it's literally 0.85 compared to 0.35. So probably $150, $155 a month for FHA loan compared to the USDA is $70. Anyway, rates are very comparable. Government rates are better. It's a long, long way from home. There's no reason to. All right. We're out of time. We'll be back for hour 2. We're going to talk about the CDC's guidelines to reopen America's 3 different